I'm Richard from Revived Furniture and Home Decor in Londonderry, New Hampshire, and we are here today with some very exciting news, and we're going to be unwrapping these packages that you see right here in front of you. There's some more around the corner. Very historical, very excited to be here and do this live with you guys. So these are all individual doors that are wrapped up that came from the crypt down in the Old North Church in Boston. And every one of these represents a door that was down in the basement, and they haven't been touched since 1860. And they are in various states of disrepair, and the hinges rotted or the wood rotted, just because they have it's close to the sea down there, so they have a lot of moisture. And we are going to be restoring them one at a time to put back in shape so that they can open up the North Church, that crypt area, for tourism. And one of our good customers is involved with the company that's doing that restoration, and they've given us the task of restoring these doors. All right, so this is a crypt door that was probably in the worst shape of all of them. So we had to tear it apart more extensively because there had to be more parts made than salvaged. They just were gone or not salvageable at all. So then this one was missing one hinge, so I'm using an old replacement hinge that's of the same period that I just happen to have on, so that you can see it's basically the same hinge. It's a little bit narrower, but it'll wind up going back on, and it will look almost exact. You won't even be able to tell because it's from the same period. And then this one, this is the door that had so much of the pieces out, and I've fixed a bunch more of the pieces since the last time we filmed. This one here is a piece that was missing, and we kind of did it under the hinge so that you can't see where the joint is. And then this particular one is a piece that we replaced that's kind of in here, and if you turn it over, it's a lot easier to see what we replaced in terms of a little bit less here. And what we did was we used some of the old parts of the jambs. So this is the parts of the jambs here, and this is why we're replacing them. They're just so bad. And so this jamb gets replaced. That's on this side, and it had this piece on the top of it, and we cut it off so that this piece here stays the part that you see, and it looks old, and then the rest is solid so that it will salvageable, so we can put the jamb back together. So this is one that has been cut. This is the other side of the jamb, and you can see. So we cut out the jamb part. The door will set in here, and then this part is all antique wood, but it's stuff I cut out of big thick beams that I had. So this is one of the beams. It's going to be the other jamb, and then this is the top plate, that will go right there at the top of the door, and then the bottom was completely gone and rotted, and this is the new piece that's going to go like that. So all of the pieces, once we glue this last piece back like this, we'll have the framework, and then we'll put it back together. Then it will become more like one of these doors where you have the frame all the way around, and it's just notched, and we're going to screw it together, and then it slides back into where the bricks, the brick part of the crypt was. So these are doors that probably were the best doors. There's 5 of these done. They were in the best of shape, so they needed the least amount of work, and they're anxious to get them back in. So these were just ones that we had to, they just show the original, just you can see some of them have a little bit of damage, but most of this is good, so it will go back into the brick and be just fine. So then this one actually had one of the hinges that had come off. We're going to put it back on, and there was one missing, but amongst the ones that I had, I made this one. And if you look, this is the post here and the eye that goes into the wood. And the eye was still there, but the post had rotted off. So I drilled it out, and then I cut this one to match where it has the similar shape, and put the post in it, an old antique bolt that I had, ground it, and then it's going to go in, and then that's going to get mounted. And once that gets mounted, it's going to look exactly the same, and it covers the same footprint. And it was just very lucky I had these pieces, but that makes that complete again and whole from a period hinge that was the same period. And then this one is another one that just had to get completely cleaned up. Again, there's a little bit of damage that is not enough because there's so much good wood. So there's no reason to cut it all off and try to splice it because you have so much good wood in there. And the whole idea of preservation is to keep as much as you can, so you're not going to ruin any of it. And these have all got to get finish put on them. And then if you can pan back here, and there's two more. This one, it just goes to show you the hinges. If you look at the hinges, they're completely different, but they're original. So they just grabbed whatever they could and they just used them. This one we had to take off and glue a door, and we had to replace one piece. We had to replace one piece on the bottom because that was just gone. All these are original, but all of it's cleaned up. So the only thing left to do on all of these is to spray a finish on them, and it's being determined what finish they want to spray right now. So we're just waiting on these. Then this door is a kind of an odd duck. It's built much later, and you can see it has new, modern hinges. They're probably 100 years old, but they're considered modern. They're not period like these hand-forged ones. And much thinner. If you look at the thickness of these, they're much thinner. And then this was missing all the cross pieces except for two. All these are replaced to fill it back in to give it the strength that it needs. But these are going to slide back into their original, to the original crypt. So every one of these had to be done, all the fixing that we're doing, and especially on the ones where we're replacing the jambs, they have to be specifics because they have to go slide right back in. Each one's marked. Each one has a number that coincides with where it goes. But that's a lot of progress. This is 6 doors that we'll have done. There's 15 altogether, and we'll probably get this batch done this next week, and then we'll bring in a bunch more, and I'm sure we'll do another segment and show you some a next batch. They're all going to have their own sets of problems and fun things to fix. But that's the update for this week.